guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are doing my October 2020 plan with me. I have my Day Designer Academic Year Daily Planner and my bullet journal. These are the two tools that I use to plan my life. We are starting a new month, but also a new quarter, the last quarter of 2020. I just recorded a video with some inspiration and motivation and hope for the last quarter of 2020. I'm going to link that video up here so you can check that out if you haven't already. But we are going to be doing some additional spreads in my bullet journal this month because we're starting a new quarter. Plus, I'm adding some more just because I want to sort of expand the functionality of this. I'm getting a little bit more comfortable with it. So we're going to be doing some new spreads in there and then plotting everything out on our monthly calendar for October. So let's go ahead and get started. I do want to mention that I am very close, very, very close to 333 subscribers.
All right, guys, we're going to get started with a spread for the fourth quarter. So the last 3 months of the year, I find that breaking your goals down quarterly sort of helps segment and separate the things that you want to work on and just sort of helps you break everything down into smaller pieces so that everything feels a little bit more manageable and doable, especially in a year where so much is sort of planned and sort of unpredictable. It's just nice to break things down into smaller time frames since it's so much harder to plan ahead. So I went ahead and put my fourth quarter title at the top along with the 3 months of the year that this plan is going to cover. I am going to draw out some boxes here on the top to sort of keep track of all of the items that I want to get done in this time period. And just a note about my bullet journal, everyone, I am a functional bullet journaler, meaning I'm not here to make it look incredibly gorgeous or beautiful or artistic. I'm just here to make it look functional and work for me. I know it's hard to sort of see what I'm writing here, but I have different categories of to-dos in the top, like personal, work, my channel, things to buy, work goals, those sort of things. I find that separating your to-dos out by category also is really helpful in my brain. So that's what is at the top, lists of different categories, and then the last section has each month divided out into its own box. I will then take the to-dos on the top of that list and put them into a month to get done. On the opposite page, I am asking myself for some sort of reflection and focus questions to sort of get my mind in the right place for the last 3 months of the year. I find that anytime that you can build in reflection to your planning, you make such more meaningful connections and it really sharpens your priorities and where you think you should be going. So I'm asking myself what my focus is for the quarter. What are the most important goals coming up in the next 3 months? What else do I want to work on? And then what other important events or deadlines or things are happening during this quarter? So when I get ready for the month, I'll go in and start filling out some of those questions. So after that fourth quarter spread was set up and in the bullet journal, I went on to my October title page. Again, I'm not an artist here, people. I'm just trying to make it look somewhat cute and fun to flip through. So I found some templates on Etsy and I just on Pinterest and just sort of copied them. But nothing fancy, just an October 2020 title with an O and a wreath garland thing on top of it. And then I have a quote on the other page. Now we'll go ahead and get started with my October spreads. As I've gotten more comfortable with the bullet journal, I've started to make some changes and sort of expand upon what I have been doing just to make my experience better and make my planning system a little bit better. So I felt like for this month, I'd like to put a section at the top to sort of define my goals for the month. Instead of just listing out a bunch of to-dos, I do find something powerful about summarizing those into goals and projects that you're really focusing on. And so I put that section at the top with a second box underneath it for important events that are happening that month, deadlines, things that I need to keep in mind. And then I put the to-do.
So unfortunately, my phone died in the middle of creating this spread, so it didn't capture any of what I had done here. This is essentially my monthly layout. Let me show you September, and you'll see that it's changed a little bit. I expanded this section to fit one page, and I'm taking this and expanding that to fill the second page. I felt that I needed to be a little bit more specific about goals and important.
So on the second page of my monthly spread, I just created 4 columns for the weeks of the month, created headers for those, and divided that box into 4 sections to separate the 4 weeks of the month so that I can take my to-dos and projects and action steps and put them into a specific month, or I'm sorry, a specific week of the month.
And so then the other thing that I'm sort of adding is I'm going to add a little goal section at the top so that again, I'm refocusing each and every week on the goals that I want to get done. And then the rest will just be the list of what I'm working on. So I think I'll do that. Okay. I'm going to add a border to the top of this, I think. So there, now I think my sort of monthly spreads are done here. I just thought I'd show you quickly. I did end up adding this spread to my bullet journal last month after I had done my video, so you never saw it, but I did start some bullet journal spreads for my channel, specifically for morning coffee. Since I know that that doesn't apply to everyone, I didn't want to show you through how I created it, but I did want to tell you that I've included it. Maybe you have some sort of content creation in your life and you might find this helpful, but I have a space for my monthly videos, the goals that I have for the channel for the month, a place to brainstorm, tracking the content that I put out, so tracking that I did my videos for the month, and my newsletters for the month. If you are interested in getting the morning coffee newsletter delivered to your inbox, go ahead in the description below. There is always a link to my newsletter.
Lastly, I wanted to include a new spread for each week where I can reflect on how the last week went and what I want to continue into the next week or make better for the next week. Again, I don't want to make it a super complicated process, but at the same time, I do feel like consistently reviewing how everything's going is just going to help keep me on track. This year is crazy, my life is crazy, and it can be easy to just let life happen to you. And so I'm trying to be mindful and intentional. And so this spread is supposed to help me with that. I have questions in here like what worked well last week? What did I struggle with? What am I going to change to make this week better? And then at the bottom, just some sections where I can list out my top 3 things that I'm working on, results I am working to achieve, important dates and deadlines, and then another little section over at the bottom that just says other, where I can put any other notes that I feel like I need throughout the week or something else that I want to make sure I am keeping in mind.
So I wanted to include a weekly reflection prompt in my bullet journal for this month. And I haven't quite decided if just having it here on one page is enough that I can just think through it and not need a separate one for each week because I wouldn't be writing in it. But what I think is going to happen is that I'm going to like writing in it. So right now I'm just going to leave this here like this. If I try this the first week of October and I really like it, then I'll make another one for the next week and each of the following weeks, right? But I want to make sure it's something that I'm actually going to use before I like write out 5 full sections like this, 4 or 5 sections like this. So I'm going to leave it here, but this is what I'm going to start with in October and use some weekly reflection. If I like it, then I'll transfer this exact spread over to the next page and try it again the next week. So because I'm not sure how many weeks I'm going to do that, I'm not going to put them all out and then put my monthly reflection in. But I will just flash over and show you this is what the monthly reflection looks like. So I will be putting this at the end of my bullet journal for the month. I just don't know where within the number of pages. So this is the monthly pause and reflect spread that will go at the end of my bullet journal for the month. So there you have it, guys. There's my 4th quarter 2-page spread. Here is my set of spreads for the month of October with some expanded sections and flexibility. The addition of the page specifically for my channel and the addition of my weekly reflection, and I will be adding that monthly reflection page as well. That is my bullet journal spread for October and Q3.